In this story, it is told that years ago, there was a world below our world, not ordinary but a magical world. These worlds were connected to each other. One was the upper world, while the other was called the lower world. There was a king who ruled both worlds with great ease, but he often thought things in his imagination. Means he thought things that did not even exist in his own way because he used to get happiness from such things. But then one day the king was sad because of this. He took a lot of trouble and could not rule both his worlds. Because of this, they started to separate from each other. Now the lower world, the magical world, also felt the pain of the king and began to settle inside. Because of this, a black shadow was born here. As it spread, it grew up and became a monster named Shroud. He then destroyed this world and turned this magical world into a black world and separated it from our world forever. After that, the story comes to the present time. Here a boy named Peter was going to a new house with his mom, dad and sister. Here we notice that Peter is always nervous because he is afraid of the things around him. The reason is also that he used to imagine even the smallest things a lot, which was the cause of his trouble. If we talk about Peter's sister, she was completely different from her brother. Always happy and always thinking good. She doesn't live in the imagination and takes everything positively. Now these people have started shifting things and living here. The next day, Peter's sister went to a general store while playing. He also goes behind her. In this store, there were strange colored things lying around which were also looking expensive. But in all this, Peter likes a puzzle cube very much, means a cube on which the puzzle had to be solved. Now that magic was a cube, but Peter does not discover this. He bought it and brought it home. When Peter was going to sleep at night, his mom gives him a compass as a gift, which is actually to tell about the roads. His mom says this was your grandfather's. He had said that gift this to Peter when he grows up a little. So now he comes to his room with this compass and starts solving the puzzle of that cube. In the meantime, his sister came here who asked Peter for the puzzle cube and says give it to me and take some coins from me in return. She was about to take out that coin and give it to Peter. At that time, a coin falls down from the hole in the floor. Because that floor was made of wood, as Peter goes to pick up that coin in that hole, he sees a big eye of an animal. Due to this, he gets scared and immediately moves back. Before he could understand anything, his room started breaking, rifts begin to appear on the walls. And the floor also starts breaking. The next moment all the stuff in the room also started flying in the air, even the bed on which his sister was sitting. And then their stuff and bed start falling down. By then Peter had also jumped on the bed. Actually, a way had opened up to solve Peter's puzzle. Due to it, they come down, which was the same world as years ago. As the bed fell in front, a lot of strange creatures come here and dragged the bed and started taking them away from here. Actually, they were doing all this to save their lives because the monster Shroud had found out that they have come here, which could have come here to kill them at any time. Now all these creatures bring them to another place and then they pass through the bridge and come across it. After doing this, they break this bridge so that the monster does not follow them here. Now all the creatures bring them to a cave. The children were looking around carefully. They were also surprised at what is happening to us. That's when the head of the creature came here, who gets angry by seeing them here. Because they are human beings and their presence isn't less than any danger. Hearing this, an old creature comes in front and says don't get angry, and tells everyone that it is not a coincidence that Peter and his sister came here but years ago. This prediction was made to the patient that these two children will come here and Peter, who will be the king here, he will save this world and all of us from Shroud and will fix this world as it was before. Because Peter is the murderer of the king here years ago, and by telling this, the old creature brought them inside the cave and shows them the prediction written on the wall. There was a drawing of Peter and his sister. In addition to this, there were many other pictures made there, showing all this. The old creature tells them about the past here, how a king used to rule over both worlds years ago who were your elders, but due to sorrow, Monster Shroud was born here because of the black shadow and this world was separated. Because of this, the clock kept here broke, which was the only time-telling clock. Likewise, the time stopped. Now according to the prediction, Peter will have to start this clock again. For this, Peter will have to find some more magical puzzle cubes and have to solve them. After it, He will get a key, and with his help he will be able to run the clock. Due to this, now Peter and his sister also understand that if they want to get out of this world, then they will have to solve these puzzles first. Now to find the next puzzle cube, the old creature gives a book to Peter, but this whole book was empty. The old creature tells that this is a magical book, and the educated creature here, who is actually a mechanic, can read it. So now you have to go to that mechanic creature. Hearing this, their head agreed to take him to him. The old creature's son was also going with him, named Pling, but the head and Pling started arguing while leaving, because both did not trust each other. But hearing their quarrel, Shroud came here and attacks them. Due to it, they ran away, but Peter, his sister and Pling fell down a lot, and now they come out of that cave. They discover that they are lost, but then Pling gives the compass in Peter's hand and says this shows the way, let's use it. They use it and finally reach that mechanic who was repairing a lot of wheeled machines at this time, which was a whole statue. They ask for help from him. On it, the mechanic says, I am busy now. You go and come back sometime. But Pling says, my dad has sent me. Now hearing this, the mechanic agrees to help him and comes out immediately. He takes the puzzle from Peter, and as he puts it on the book, at that time lines are written on the book, pictures and maps are made. It was also written that where is the next puzzle, and Way was also made. The mechanic creature tells that when you solve a puzzle, you will know through this book where is the next puzzle. The whole way must have been written. After telling all this, he gives Peter a small device, which was a bulb device, and says, Peter, you have to run this with your mind, with your imagination, but before that, you have to get the fear out that is inside you. You have to finish it completely, and you have to read this book carefully. That's why you will understand everything. Now at his behest, Peter closes his eyes, takes out his fear and pays attention. He started reading the book, with which a puzzle comes there. Now Peter's eyes were closed, but as he reads the riddle in his imagination, Pling solves it, by which he found out that to get the next puzzle he has to go to the ground of a ruined building and stand up, where there is a big eye in the sky. So now with the help of Pling, they reached that ruined building and stand on its ground, where a big clock picture was made. Now according to the clock, there were 12 numbers, but they have to find the next number, because it is obvious that it is not in the clock, means the number 13. They look around, but they do not get that number anywhere, but Peter still keeps looking for that number in the ruins. After all, he gets 13 numbers in a big picture, under which a lot of pictures of rats were made. And there was also a small button made there. As Peter presses it, this wall started opening that was actually a secret locker, in which Peter gets the next cube A puzzle, and with this, he was happy. But because of the cube coming out, a huge dragon comes here. Looking at it, Peter got scared. He quickly hides behind a pillar, but then he remembers something about the mechanic creature, that you are a king and a king should be brave. He should be able to control his fear, recognizes his powers and should use them. Thinking this, Peter comes in front of the dragon with a lot of courage and says, look, I have a puzzle cube here and I am the king. Hearing this, the dragon bows in front of Peter. It bows its head and also apologizes, saying, please forgive me. I did not know. The dragon also tells that I can take any form. Hearing this, Peter says, then it's okay, take us to the next puzzle cube place, which is actually a temple made in the desert. So now the dragon changes his body a little and makes it of iron, which was the upper part of it, because it had made this seat for these three. Now it comes near that temple, taking Peter, his sister and Pling, where there were a lot of statues of the creatures here, which were all soldiers' creatures. All were made of stone, although earlier everyone was alive and was in good health. Because of the attack of Shroud, they become stones. Now they come inside the temple, where they find a two-headed tortoise, which was actually two but were joined together. They knew that Peter is the king here, so they start talking to him, but he starts getting angry at them. That why are you talking so much? Don't waste my time. I have to find the puzzle. Now Peter's sister didn't like his behavior, and she was stopping him from doing this. But these siblings had an argument about this. Then his sister gets angry and comes out of there. After it, Peter started looking at the temple, and there were a lot of pictures made. There were 4 or 5 stones on one wall, and some pictures were made on them too. Now the puzzle was in a code. According to those codes, Peter turns those stones by touching them. Now, he turned all the stones like this and solved this puzzle. As this happened, This wall started opening because this was also a secret way, in which he gets the next puzzle cube. Now before this he kept this cube on the book to find out the next puzzle cube. He started hearing his sisters scream from outside. When he went to check outside, he sees that the army of Shroud has caught his sister and the dragon, which was a big army, and all these were robot machines. The leader of the army says to Peter, "Quietly hand over this puzzle cube to us," but Peter clearly refuses. That no. Anyway, my work is incomplete, I couldn't find all the puzzles. Now the leader got angry after hearing this refusal. That's why he started hitting Peter and attacked them while asking his people. Seeing this, the dragon also becomes furious, and now with the help of its strength, it increases its size and now started killing these soldiers. Its size was so big that all these looked like children in front of it, and it kept crushing them like ants. Here they had a big fight. Then Peter uses his brain here and finished this whole army with the help of the device given by the mechanic in a snap. But during this fight, a soldier attacked Peter's sister, and because he was a soldier of Shroud, that's why his sister started changing into stone. And now there was only one way to fix his sister, and that was to defeat Shroud. For this, they have to run that clock again, which stopped years ago. And because now they have less time, so they leave to find the next puzzle cube, which will be their last puzzle cube, and its location was on top of a mountain, means it will be found there. When they reach there, the tortoise says, "I think I have come here before, but I don't remember when." During this, his sister started to get sick because now she became more stone. Seeing this, Peter started to worrying about her. He leaves the tortoise and the dragon with his sister. He goes to find the puzzle cube with Pling. He comes inside and solves the puzzle, but when he goes to the puzzle place, he was quite surprised because it wasn't there, because someone had already taken the puzzle cube from there. Seeing this, Peter felt bad, and he gets disappointed and comes out. Now his sister had completely turned into stone. He became sad to see this. He was also getting angry, that's why he throws the magic book given by the old creature down, because now he had lost faith in all this. He feels that I will not be able to do anything right. And now the tortoise remembers, when did it come here? It says, "Peter, when I came here, I took the last cube from there so that Shroud will not take it. I have it." Saying this, he gives the last cube to Peter, with which Peter was happy because now all the puzzle cubes had come. But he gets sad because now they don't have a book, as he had thrown it down. He starts crying at how stupid he was, but then the dragon who could fly calms him down and goes down to find the book. It was found Sue. With it, it comes back. Peter keeps it on the book, with which he came to know that to run the clock, the key he would have needed. To get that key they will have to go to a tower, which is a clock tower. So now even though Peter does not want to, but goes to the clock tower with the dragon, leaving his sister's idol there. He goes inside and sees a lot of big magic gloves. These were the places that were protecting the tower, and did not let anyone go ahead apart from the king. Now as Peter and his companions started moving ahead, the gloves stopped them. On it, the dragon says, "Do not stop us. Let us go, because Peter is the next king." The gloves say, "Okay. So this is the thing. Let's agree, but if Peter is the king, then he will have to show his powers." Now hearing this, Peter starts thinking about what to do, because apparently he did not have any special power. But there was a game with hands and fingers in which he was skilled, so to play him, he challenges the gloves. That now let's play the game, in which Peter won, and this time the gloves got angry that why did we lose. Now he started attacking Peter. Seeing this, he remembered the same bulb device that the mechanic gave him. Peter orders it to attack all of them and break them, destroy them. The bulb device does this, attacks the gloves and breaks them. It broke into many pieces. Like this, everything is destroyed. After it, Peter gets the key to the clock with the help of the puzzles, but the Pling also changes into a stone. By which Peter understood here that Shroud is none else but the dragon who for so long was helping Peter to get the key. It was with him everywhere. It was Shroud in the form of a dragon. Now because his real thing came to the front, that's why he changes from the dragon and comes in the form of his real Shroud monster. It had the strength to spread the body. With the help of it, it attacks Peter and brings Peter's most surprising secret in front. Actually, Peter's sister was not in reality, rather it was also Peter's imagination. The truth is that sometime before his sister died, he could not bear the pain and could not believe her death. He started imagining her. Because of this, he started seeing her everywhere. By telling this, Shroud started attacking him. Actually, after his sister's death, Peter was living in shame that I did not do anything to save her life. I am of no use, and by taking advantage of his fear and shame, Shroud was trying to weaken him. But now he understands that I have now come to this world. So here my sister is not just my imagination, but I can revive her with magic, who after being alive will live in this world. So now he was happy that he got another chance to revive his sister. Now, he erases all his fears to save his sister and others. That's why he also orders his bulb device and attacks Shroud. And because his body was tangled, it starts breaking and scattering, and it is completely destroyed. And in this way Shroud's death took place, and today, the darkness of this world was finally over. So now Peter turns on that clock again. As the clock went on, this world gets back to normal again. The light began to shine from here and things start working. And Peter's sister and the creatures which were made of stone also got back to normal. Now, his sister becomes of this world. Peter was happy to see her. Now because Peter had a hand in fixing all this, so he is crowned with respect. But he takes off the crown and puts it on his sister by saying that if you are of this world, then you have a right on it. He came back to his world by saying goodbye to everyone. How's a broken room also gets back to normal. After waking up from sleep, he tells all this to his dad, means what we saw from the beginning was his imagination. And in his imagination, the world below had become again, where his sister is alive, and he always wanted to see his sister alive. Now, he could only meet her in his imagination. Here we also know that at the beginning, the king also imagined the world below and above. Because of his worries, the world stopped when the clock stopped, which was repaired by their generation's kid. As I told you, Peter was from their generation. And now we see the world below in Peter's imagination, where his sister has become the queen. Here this movie concludes.